Hello everybody, this is Simeonski. Welcome to another Rec Room tutorial. In this one, I'm gonna explain to you one of the mechanics that I used in my games and also show you how you can build this mechanic into your game step by step. So this is a system that is not really a game system, so to speak, but this is a system that I am using as a moderation tool in subrooms. Basically, I'm using this in my hub, the Bible experience, with a lot of subrooms where people can go in, read through a Bible text and play through it. And this is a simple moderation system where you have a gun, like the preacher has a gun that he can pick up and he can shoot people to megaphone them and mute them. So you have to think what you want to do first. I think it's megaphoning first. Let's see, or muting, not sure. Yeah, it's muting the person first and shows them they are muted. And once you shoot the person again, you can speak now, which means they are on megaphone and everyone in the room can hear them. Then you shoot again, and they are muted. So that's the gun I'm gonna explain and that I'm using as a moderation tool. So let's see how we can create this. Okay, how are we doing this? Basically, what you want to do first is to spawn in a pistol. I'm using the paint pistol for that. Very important. I do it in a way that people can have the preacher role or like the moderator role and press a button, and only the person with the moderator role will be able to pick it up. There's no roles in here right now. But what you could also do it, you have a mod role that only certain people that are part of your community, for example, and have the right to moderate, will be able to pick this gun up, and then you're kind of safe that people not just randomly picking up, muting and megaphoning people or themselves. Yeah, that's just a safety thing, but how it works I will show you now. We are starting off with a player definition board, very important. Called player definition board empty. Why is it called? Okay, player definition board empty. I don't know why it's called player definition board empty, but yeah, whatever. Okay, we will start off with the player definition board and we will configure that. You don't need to give it a name, it's empty. And basically what this will do is it will send out an event from what is happening to you as a player. How does this work? We put in an event receiver. And we have to find the right event now. The event that we want to use here is far down the road and it's called projectile hit player. So this means if something hits you, this will fire. And we have collision data here. This was a little bit easier before, but they changed the system a little bit, but it's fine for us. We just want to have the collision data tell us what player was hit. Here we go. Collision data, player hit. And then we have to create, or we have to go out of this again, and we will have to create an event here And I want to make it a new event. Event definition. And call it I call it mute gun. We're going to call it mute gun. And what we also want to do here is we want to add a property, which means we want to tell the person, we want to tell which player is basically affected. We have to go through all these things and find well, there's a lot of different things here. We will have to find the player. Player object here, player world UI, no. That's always a little bit of a, oh, you can search. Okay, there, we have to find the player and call it player hit. Okay, so this is the property we need in this thing, and then we can edit this, make an event sender. Event sender. Set it to target all and use the mute gun here. Okay. And this will basically, whenever somebody is hit, send out an information to everyone in the room, and we'll basically tell them what is happening. So how do we set this up? So this basically important here for this definition boards. They will only work if you put them into active. So you have to manually go in here. And also if you make an invention or something like this, you will have to activate it all the time you will spawn this invention into your room, just that they don't forget that. So what does this do? It will send an event. Now anyone is hit, it will send the event to everybody. And we have an event receiver here that is firing when they call it mute gun. No, that's not the right one. It's firing whenever the mute gun. I can type it in mute. Mute gun is firing. This is the object. So here we go. So this is firing, giving us the player that was hit. And now I'm going through a chain here. Simple chain. So the first will be, I will check if the player is local, so if it's yourself that has been hit. If player is local, only then will it continue. And you have to connect this because the player output will check if it's you that has been hit. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we do. Then we will do the, if it's local, if it's hitting you, we will add 2 roles here. And for this we need role chips. We will use 2 roles. One will be, for this example, you could also make it in a way that you hit people 3 times. So one will be megaphone, one will be mute, and one will be just normal. That's what you can do, but I, for the sake of simpleness, will only do the, as we also do it in our church, we will only megaphone or mute people. And then in the end we would take the roles away from everyone. So I have a mute. So I'm doing the mute first because you might want to use this for muting people that are just plainly annoying. You just, in this role, you just change your voice roll-off to 0, so they are mute. You can also put it to 1 that they can talk to the person that's really close to them, but if you want to mute them fully, just change the voice to 0 here, and for the megaphone we will do the exact opposite. We will change the distance to 500 so everyone in the room will be able to hear you. Here we go. Okay, and now we have these roles. And basically, where we are going to an if check here again. So. And we want to go in a circle right now. We want to check if you have to roll megaphone, then it will mute you. If you have to roll mute, then it will megaphone you. Basically, that's what we're going to do. So that's why we are checking if player has role Oh, we have this chip already. Okay, don't even need the if here. We can do the if player has role. And we keep it local player. We don't have to connect it, just like because we're already on local here. So if the player has the role megaphone, okay, no. We just type it here, megaphone, megaphone, done. Then we will give him the mute role. So we just use the add role chip. And as well remove the megaphone role from him. Remove. Player remove role here. So if the person already has the megaphone, megaphone will be removed and mute will be added. Okay, and we will also put a subtitle that tells the player that he is muted now. So this will be the first check. Player shows subtitle. Here we go. Just call it you are muted. Alright. So this will do first in this chain, so it will check if the player has the role, then it will continue doing this. If it has the megaphone role, it will basically mute the player, remove the megaphone from them, and tell them you are muted. So if it doesn't have the role, it will check on the next value, and this will basically be the other way around. So we can basically copy all this and just turn it around, so to say. So then it will check if the player has the role mute. So if he's already muted, we want to megaphone him again. It will add the role megaphone, remove the role mute, and tell the person you are megaphoned. Good. And of course, now you see it's checking the roles, and in the beginning no one has any roles, so basically nothing will happen now. Of course, we have to go through this chain and just if none of this is true, you're not mute, you're not megaphone, and you will basically just not remove, add the role mute or megaphone. Depends on what you want to do first. Let's say I want to mute people when I first shoot them, so I'm giving them the role mute, and if I shoot them 2 times, they're on megaphone. And I will give them the role mute. Done. So this will happen if the person doesn't have any role yet. It will get the mute role, and of course we will also, it doesn't need to take away anything because it doesn't have anything, but we will also want to tell them that they are muted. And this should already work. Let's see. If I'm shooting myself, you're muted, you're megaphoned. Yeah, that's how it works. And if you want to be fancy with that and add something fancy here, you can also add an announcement to everyone in the room, actually on who is the person that is megaphoned. Let's say megaphone. We don't need to tell everyone who is muted right now because that's like something not that important. But we want to maybe tell people if someone is megaphoned that this person is megaphoned. So this is super easy. We will do another event. Event definition, and call this announcement. Announcement. I'm not sure if I wrote this right. And we will add the player variable here again. Bam. Give it a name. Add the player name again. And then we have this. This gives the megaphone. And we basically will do an event sender here as well. And sender. This is important. Here you have to use the event sender function because what it will do, we will use the event sender announcement and put this not to local but to all. Or even, in this case, even to others, so only the people, everyone in the room besides the person triggering this, which is the person that has just been muted, will receive this. So you will want to use others here, and you will also want to send out the player hit here. So this will, oh no, you don't even need that. Local player, it's the local player, that's you, and it will send out your name to this. Yeah, this is fine. So we don't even need to connect this player hit thing. It will send out your local name to everyone. And then basically it's super easy. You just put an event receiver somewhere. Doesn't matter where it is. Find the announcement thing. Change the player name to string. Here we go. And then just add a subtitle. Player show subtitle, here we go. And the string. String format. Here we go. And you basically take the name of the player, that will be Simeon here now, to the string format. You change the format into 0, which will add the name of the player. Is on Megaphone. And this will tell everyone in the room that you are on Megaphone. It's even important for the person that's maybe moderating, that they know, okay, this person can speak now. Of course, just connect this to the subtitle. And here we go. That's how you build up a moderation, mute, megaphone gun for your experience. Thank you guys for watching. As always, like and subscribe the video if you liked it, or leave a comment. You can also leave comments on what you want to see more on this channel. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.